Welcome everyone. In today's video, we're going to talk about a guy who I think is slept on in NBA history. He recently got into the Hall of Fame in 2021 after 40 plus years. He had a 13-year career, 6'6", 195 pounds. His name, Bob Dandridge, aka the Greyhound. He averaged 19 points per game, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, and a steal. He was an amazing player. He was a great second option, just like Scottie Pippen. He reminds me of Kawhi Leonard. He will go out, give you 20 plus a night, but will also display great defense. He was always active, out there making the right play. That's how he got the name the Greyhound. He was an X factor for the Washington Bullets team that won a title in the 1970s after losing 2 NBA finals in the 1970s. Bob Dandridge was a problem, folks. He's from Richmond, Virginia, where he attended Maggie Walker High School, where he averaged 32 points per game. After that, he attended Norfolk University, where he teamed up with New York legend Pee Wee Kirkland. And as a senior, he averaged 32 points per game and 17 rebounds. You know the NBA had to come calling. And in 1969, he was drafted in the 4th round with the 45th pick by the Bucks, who were in their second year of existence. He teamed up with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who was the number 1 pick in that draft. That year, he was the 4th option on the team. He had to pay his dues. You know, he played with passion, assertiveness. He was a beast on that court, you know. But when he walked on the court, he had something to prove because he knew he should have been drafted in at least the first 2 rounds. As a rookie, he put up 13.7 rebounds and 4 assists and made the all-rookie team that year. Bob Dandridge and Kareem helped the Bucks improve by 29 wins. That's what you call simply amazing. They finished the season with a 56-26 record. Their first matchup in the playoffs was the 76ers, who they made easy work of, beating them in 4-1. They then played the New York Knicks. The Knicks defeated them in 5, but the future was bright for this team. The Knicks won their only championship that year. But that year in the playoffs, Bob Dandridge put up 16-9 to go with 6 assists. He led the team in assists too. Now this is where things took a turn. When folks bring up Kareem and Big O for winning the championship in Milwaukee, they never talk about Bob Dandridge. Bob Dandridge was a big part of that team. I'm about to get to when they won the championship in a second. After the Bucks lost to the Knicks, they traded for the Big O. You know, he was the missing piece. Everyone complimented each other. Bob Dandridge upped his average to 18 points per game, 8 rebounds to go with 4 assists. That following year, they were ready. They whooped everyone. They went on to win 66 games and only lost 16. They played the Warriors in the first round. They ended them in 5. The second round, they took out the Lakers, who had Wilt Chamberlain, Jerry West, Gail Goodrich, and Elgin Baylor. They eliminated them in 5. Next was the NBA Finals, where they faced the Washington Bullets, who consisted of Gus Johnson, Wes Unseld, and Earl the Pearl Monroe. Guess what, folks? They swept them to win the NBA championship. In 1974, Bob Dandridge averaged 19 and 10 to go with 4 assists in the playoffs. The next year, the team went 63 and 19. He averaged the same numbers from the previous year. Jerry West and the Lakers were ready this time, though. The Lakers defeated the Bucks, but Bob Dandridge averaged 22 points per game, 9 rebounds, 2 assists in the playoffs. Now the next season was different. Big O had got old, so Bob Dandridge became the second option behind Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. That year, the Bucks went 60-22. For the 3rd straight year, they were the number 1 seed in the playoffs. They faced the Warriors again in the first round, who this time had acquired the ABA legend Rick Barry. Put some respect on Rick Barry's name. Rick Barry held Bob Dandridge in check. He held him to 13 points per game, 5 rebounds, and 1 assist. Rick Barry was cold, man. The following year, the Bucks went 59-23. That year, Bob put up 19 points per game, 7 rebounds, 3 assists in the postseason. The Bucks met the Lakers in the first round. It was time for them to get their get back. They beat them in 5. Second, they faced the Bulls. They swept them in 4. Next was the NBA Finals, where the Celtics were waiting, who consisted of JoJo White, Dave Connors, and Hondo, better known as John Havlicek. They went at it, folks, in a classic series, 7 games to be exact. The Celtics won. Bob Dandridge put up 19 points per game, 8 rebounds. Now, the following year, Big O retired. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar missed a lot of games, but not only that, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar requested a trade to the Los Angeles Lakers, leaving Bob Dandridge as the number 1 option. He had big shoes to fill. Him and Brian Winters were good, but they weren't good enough. So they played 2 years together, and after that, Bob Dandridge went to play for the Washington Bullets, where he formed the Big Three with Wes Unseld and the Big E, better known as Elvin Hayes. Bob put up his usual numbers, but that year, the Washington Bullets was the lowest seed in the playoffs. They were 44-38. They went into the Atlanta and knocked off the Hawks. Then Iceman came to town. They beat the Spurs in 6. And then in the Eastern Conference Finals, Dr. J and the 76ers, they knocked them off. Next was the Seattle Supersonics, waiting for them in the NBA Finals, who had Dennis Johnson and Gus Williams. R.I.P. to them legends. And they also had Jack Sigma and Downtown Freddie Brown. They went 7 games in another classic matchup, with the Bullets winning. The Bullets had the worst regular season record, like I mentioned earlier. Bob Dandridge went off, 21 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists. Now the next year, they made it back to the finals in a rematch against the Seattle Supersonics, but this time, Seattle beat them easily. But Bob Dandridge did his thing. He put up 23 points, 7 rebounds, and 6 assists in the NBA Finals. He played 1 more year in Washington. He just couldn't stay healthy. After that, he called it a wrap. But did you know? Bob always upped his game in big games. He scored more points in the 1970s NBA Finals than any other player. His middy was one of the best of his era, just like Calvin Murphy and Rick Barry. He's the only player to average 20-plus points in 3 different NBA Finals: 74, 78, and 79. Bob Dandridge was a good defensive player too. He was just nice. Look how he playing defense right here. He was just nice with that nice long wingspan. Always played the game the right way. Bob Dandridge, ladies and gentlemen.